Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Kid Icarus of Myth and Monsters on the Nintendo Game Boy. Last episode we completed the overworld fortress and here we are in Skyworld. I'm going to have 3 levels in Skyworld before we have to go to the Skyworld fortress, which is the largest fortress in the game, although you can make it pretty short by taking some shortcuts. And I'll show them off, of course, in the next episode, because this episode is going to take the entire episode is going to take the first 3 levels here, so we won't have time to get into the fortress. So, just like the NES game, Skyworld is basically just going to be vertical stages that we have to ascend, but it'll be a little bit easier than in the NES game, because remember in the NES game, when you scrolled up the screen, anything that scrolled off the screen on the bottom was basically became a bottomless pit, where here we don't have to worry about, bottomless pits. Of course, we still gotta have some tricky jumps to make, but the penalty for missing them isn't going to be death. It's just going to be, some time. We gotta re-spend doing things over again. We got kind of a tricky jump right here. We gotta kind of jump to the left and swing around. Makes me think of the Mega Man games with the Yoku blocks, the disappearing blocks. A lot of times you'll be on a Yoku block and then the next Yoku block will appear directly above you. So you either have to know that it's going to appear above you and then jump before it appears, and then time it so that you land on it when it appears. Or you can do this like a little side jump, like how I just did it with Pit. A lot tougher, of course, to do in Mega Man. I don't think I've ever done it in Mega Man. But it's a common trick to see done in like tool-assisted speedruns of the Mega Man games. Tool-assisted speedruns are basically where somebody basically tries to complete the game as fast as possible, basically using all the tools that an emulator can provide to basically try to create a perfect run. They're able to use tools like frame advance. Normally games run at 60 frames per second. They can basically play it at like 1 frame a second, so that lets them like fire, shots really quick if they're like in a shooting game. Or in a game like this, they can get right up to the boss and spam arrows. Also, because they're slowing everything down to 1 frame at a time, they can react quicker to like enemy patterns. So they'll let the enemy do like complex bullet patterns and then dodge them and do funky things like that. We'll show off like really hard tricks, because another thing in emulators is they have save states. So if you try to do a trick that's really hard and they mess up on it, they can just reload the state before they try the trick. So they basically make everything perfect. So yeah, pretty interesting to watch. We got a credit card there last time. Anytime we get a credit card, we'll just be coming back. A key. Every time we get a key, we'll just head back into the chamber to redo it again. Basically, all we're really looking for is bottles or credit cards, because a credit card basically will become a bottle. Pick all the hammers up. Said if you want to explore all the rooms in the final stage, you're going to need a lot of hammers, because most of the doors are going to be hidden behind walls, and not just like 1 or 2 bricks. And there'll be multiple bricks that you have to destroy. We'll spend a lot of time buying hammers. Nope, not enough money to buy another bottle. We'll just have to wait for the black market. You get a free with that credit card. Hopefully we'll soon get that 5th bar of life as well. That we'll be able to take a few hits and still maintain the crystal shield that we recently got. Remember, thin platforms, if you duck on them, you'll fall through them. So, don't duck on these thin platforms. Clouds are also, even though they're thick, they're considered a thin platform. And there's the angel key. unlock all the previous doors in the stage, but we don't need to do anything there. We just need to advance to the next stage. And hey, we got the last life increase. We also got another arrow strength increase there. So I think we're at 7. That's one way the game makes the jumps a little trickier. They throw out a lot of these spikes. Get in Pit's way. Like, not as many spikes as in the last stage. But if you've done all the training, one of the items is the silver armor. And that basically cuts damage in half. So, spikes aren't as scary. And there are so many healing springs on the last stage. We're almost there. Well, actually, in the next episode, we get to see a little bit of the last stage, but we won't complete the last stage. These floating octopuses. Makes me think of Stinger. It's like a cute 'em up game, Twin Bee series. I have a playthrough of that on this channel. I think it's like the only shoot 'em up game that I'm pretty good at. A long time ago, I looped through it like 4 or 5 times and had like a high score and submitted it to Twin Galaxies. But I couldn't take a picture of the Nintendo, so they didn't accept the run. But it would have been a high score at the time. Somebody else has a really high score now. I think the only way you can probably get higher or guarantee that you'll be on the leader of that board is to max the score out. Which would probably take a ton of playthroughs. Yeah, I ended up, so when I did my playthrough, I did a whole bunch of loops. I got to the point where like I had so many lives. By that point, you know, you start getting fatigue in your hands and your eyes. I don't really know all the rules of speedrunning and high scores. But you know, like in arcade games, you're like, because there was no pause, so if you played an arcade game, like on an emulator, you would be allowed to pause it. I don't know if they allow you to pause and take a break for like Nintendo games going for a high score run. Not something that I was, I guess other than that Stinger, really interested in ever doing. The only reason I wanted to do Stinger was because I looked at the page and saw that the score on Stinger was really, really low. I was like, wow, this is really, really low. I was like, I can probably beat it. You can beat down these walls with a hammer and get another hot spring here. So close to getting that. Yes. I have to loop around to get that heart. Unfortunately, I killed all those snakes, so it'd be nice to attack, get the heart first and get all those hammers. I will be buying a lot of hammers for the final stage. Hammers cost 20 in a regular shop, so for these bats, I could say this place is basically worth 2 hammers, killing all the bats. Let's get out of here. Keep heading on up. Some people saying they took a lot of the enemies and they gave them like new sprites. Like in the base game, the blobs that floated around, they looked like Metroids. But for some reason in this game, they replace the little Metroids with those other blobs. They replace quite a few enemies with that act the same as enemies in the base game, but have different sprites. So then we've maxed out our arrows. We have 8 arrows, which is the max strength we can have. We saw that we only have 7 bottles, so we still need to buy 1 more of them to max out our bottle supply. But we'll get to it. We're almost at the end of the level here, which means Angel Key. And not worried about returning, because there's nothing really else for us to do. We just gotta buy the 1 more bottle and that's it. And we have I think we still have a credit card from the black market. So there's a spring coming up here. Later on in the stage, we'll get to one of those information people, and they'll tell us, you know, brave the swamp at the beginning of the stage to find a hot spring. Well, there you go. Now we won't have to backtrack. The hot spring's right there. But we're gonna have to backtrack, unfortunately, through the swamp, because we can't make that jump, even hovering. So, a little tricky jump, because we're gonna hit our head on that door. But we made it. Yep, you have everything. Well, yeah, let's get our last bottle. There we go. Bottles are maxed out. And might as well buy some hammers. You obviously want to have at least 3 hammers when you go into the fortress, so that you can get the map, the pencil, and the torch, which are always hidden under one of the Centaurian statues. Yeah, it's much cheaper, like I said, to go in there with a hammer than buy it at the shop. Shops are quite expensive in the fortresses. You want to do as much shopping as you can in the overworld here. Prices are a little bit cheaper. Of course, like a lot of RPGs, hearts, the currency in this game, basically becoming useless at the end of the game. Or at the beginning of the game, they're in such short supply. You wish you had more. And it's the point you're just like, nah, you're actually passing up hearts because you're like, I don't need them. Yeah, here's that information guide. Rick's poison in the first big lake to reveal a spring. Well, we already did that, buddy. Let's head on up. Take some damage there for the spike. I wonder if it's possible to do a damageless run in this game. Probably not. Just like I think it's probably it's impossible to do like a damageless run in Metroid. Because it's like rooms where you have to touch lava. You could probably do a run where you don't get hit by enemies, but I said in like the first video, Metroid and Kid Icarus are kind of like, a lot of them consider them sister series, both made by Nintendo, and they both use the same engine. Kid Icarus used the same engine as Metroid, and this Myth and Monsters here uses the same engine as Metroid 2. It's probably interesting how a lot of these Nintendo games, the engine that they made, you know, probably had a whole bunch of people to create it. And then as technology advances and people get better at coding and stuff, like little engines are basically made freeware online. So you get like people making stuff like Mega Maker and to make Mega Man levels, and Zelda Classics to make Zelda games. Well, like one person can now make a game that probably took a large group of people back in the day to make. Technology makes everything like so much more accessible. So, I know I mentioned RPGs earlier. That's another famous series, RPG Maker. Lets people make their own little RPGs. Maybe if I ever run out of games, I can always look into doing something like that. But at the rate that I finish games, yeah, it's never gonna happen. still have to finish. Chrono Trigger, it's good. It's, like I said, it's the Lavos last thing. I gotta finish Lavos off, but the problem with Lavos is, you have to defeat all his forms in one go. And, if you mess up, it's restarting over again. And doing both forms, the final two forms takes almost like an hour. So, yeah, it's just finding time to, I need at least probably like a 2-3 hour block just to be safe to finish that off. So I've just been doing little tiny blocks here. Like I said, these episodes take me like 20 minutes to make, and then 20 minutes for video, and then they just, you know, marry them on their own. So it's not a time intensive process. So that's why I've been doing these little, between the Chrono Trigger games, I've been doing these little, tiny little games, like just the Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. And then we got another bottle that we don't need because we just bought the last bottle earlier. We'll take the hammers though, and the hearts of course. So yeah, as you can see, even though a lot of times we end up with a 50-50 chance at the end of these treasure rooms, there are so many treasure rooms throughout the game that I'm probably going to get like all the treasures, so. Now let's just get to the end of this stage so we can call this an episode. Give us a little bit of a preview of what it's going to be like when we get the wings of Pegasus for the last stage. We'll just be able to fly straight up with the wings. Another black market. Nope, don't need anything. Could have probably intimidated him being that we're at full strength. But like I said, we don't need any items, so why bother? Get some hammers. And more bats. Like I said earlier, 2 hammers. Crystal ball. We don't finish it off. And that's basically our last. Well, no, it's not our last bat room because there's actually some bat rooms in the final stage. But that was the last treasure room that we ran into. The next, the final stage only has bat rooms, some training rooms, and hot springs. There's the Angel Key. And here's the final exit in Skywall. The next episode, it's off to the Skywall Fortress, and then to the final stage. So I'll see you there. Take care. Thanks for following along. Have a good day. Bye.